and gentlemen, hello, and look what we have here. It is, oh yes, North and South. We are back with North and South, these fine fellows. Look there from the 32nd Massachusetts, Colonel Lance leading his forces forward. And there's Major Hugo behind him. Look at all these lovely fellows. Oh, these uniforms looking so well. The flag flying in the breeze. And over here on the side here we have, on the right hand side, look at this, from Michigan, Private Andrew King. Let's see who's commanding the Michigans. George Hamilton as well. Now, we also have, the man himself, Ulysses S. Grant. Old unconditional surrender. Look at that. Now, let's find out what they're going to do, because you can see here this lovely, yes, thank you, Firebonds, this lovely map that they are fighting over. And let's see if we can find out what the Confederate State Army is up to. Now, there's Brigadier General Rockefeller, who looks to be, or Rockefeller, I should say, looks to be commanding the artillery section of the Union forces. Now, let's see. No, still Union. Look at this. Staff Lieutenant Henry, who looks to be scouting from the Eagle Brigade, rifle in hand. He's looking for the enemy, and he can see movement on the far side of the hill there. You've also got in here Brigadier General Sarkir, checking through his binocs to find out what's going on as the rest of the Confederate Army fords the river. Or at least I thought they were. Anyway, let's find out where these guys are. Look at this, Sasau. And from 2nd Connecticut, OMG Potatoes, also in there from Connecticut. Sergeant Jameson, you can see these forces moving over. Let's have a look at the sides. So we've got 73 versus 69. So the Confederate States have the advantage. You can see in there the 9th Ohio and Connecticut in there as well. And obviously a few others. Now, oh, look at this. Looks like we've already had some battles and firing going on here between the members of the Union forces and the Confederate state. Now, look at this defense. Oh, look at that. Man just got dehorsed. Alucard just got taken down by his horse, or his horse got taken down, I should say. And now you can see these forces starting to use the cover that's available and firing back against the enemy. So this particular area seems to look quite good. Oh, look at that. That might have actually been people crashing off the server as opposed to headshots. So, Massachusetts. Recruit Skulljack, taking cover behind the tree and taking a lovely pot shot. Oh, Brigadier General Rockefeller has just caught a cannonball right between the eyes. That's really unfortunate. And let's see here from the 32nd Massachusetts says Recruit Tortle, who is now cheesing it in the opposite direction. So let's see if we can find out what's going on. There's two guys there who seem to be completely and blissfully unaware of the battle that is raging around them, as Popeye I should say, manages to catch a cannonball coming in from the 1st Artillery. Let's see what's going on. Who's this slightly mad person from the 2nd Connecticut? Private Spoopy making a run into those forces and seeing if he can actually get in there and do some damage. He's going to be dangerous. It's going to be a nasty situation for him. Oh, he misses his shot. This is going to be a really difficult situation for Spoopy. And he's going to go in with the rifle swing. And unfortunately, Spoopy gets taken down by Lemoyne. Well, Lemoyne is 56 or 66, I should say. But you can see here these gentlemen from Ohio continuing to fire back, along with the 2nd Connecticut, looking fine in their resplendent uniforms. So let's see if we can find out. Now, look at that. Special K, also from Connecticut. Let's look and, oh, look at these fellows. Here is the artillery. I'm hearing conspicuous music being played. Game Master, PFC from the 1st Artillery, doing his duty. Playing music, keeping the spirits of the fellows up high. And let's see if we can get back into the battle to find out what's going on. You can see here lots of fire going on. These guys are really pushing hard against the enemy forces. You can see them getting into a little bit getting bunched up just a tiny bit, but oh, look at this. Oh, heavens. And this looks to be a follow-up by the Union forces against the Confederate States. So let's see. I would say they're the Massachusetts Volunteers based on the MV. So, or it could be Virginia of some sort. I don't know. It's difficult to tell. But anyway, let's find out what's going on. There he is, Mr. Sherman himself, William Sherman. And he is obviously for the army. Let's just check to make sure, because obviously these, bear in mind, these are all normally Union players, and they're playing in a Union versus Union on the opposing side. So sometimes the names are a little bit unusual and don't necessarily reflect the side that they're on. Well, be careful as your general rides in front of you. As you can see, the old man there from 2nd Connecticut, they are firing, and most of the fire that seems to be occurring is actually going on between this particular area. So there's Staff Lieutenant Henry, and he is chasing after an opponent. Let's see. Is this? Yes, it is. Sark here. Looking around, and you can see now the fights in the trees. The guys using the best cover they can. Those trees providing plenty of cover from the rifled bullets that would be fired out of those guns, obviously. These are not the muskets of old and of Napoleonic era. Rifling had started to come into being at this kind of period. So you can see here there's Jeremiah Abel from Michigan, and you can see, look at this. This is becoming such a forest-based fight at the moment. You can see these poor guys standing around the corpses of their friends as they are fighting back as best they can, and they're doing a good job at the moment. Let's see, 47 dead and 19 dead, so I think it's fair to say that at the moment the Union forces, oh, Stefan just got taken down, the Union forces have the advantage. They have an advantage in numbers. Whether or not they have an advantage in initiative in the battle, we just have to wait and see how that turns out. So let's follow these guys around as they are making their way. There's Brigadier General Sharkey. He's decided to dismount. He has his 6-shooter in hand. Oh, he's getting in, getting up close and personal. Oh, look at that. Quick kill with the pistol. Very, very nasty. Quick jump straight out of that hedge, and they managed to surprise the enemy. So now you can see these Union forces making their way up. There's Colonel Thomas from the 9th Ohio going in for the sword discard. Oh, ouch. That was unfortunate. And Brigadier General Ulysses Grant has been taken down. Finished off. Burger Donalds. He's defending himself, defending the pride of Michigan right now against Union forces. Oh, but sadly, unfortunately, he was overwhelmed and was unable to fight back. Aha, look at this. OMG potatoes. With a face only a mother could love. Look at that. And let's see what's going on, because now look at these forces coming across the river in quite significant numbers compared to the defenders that are up on the ridge and the trees. This is looking like a very knotty situation, as these guys, you can see them charging in now from Massachusetts, and they are dodging left and right. They do have bayonets fixed, and that was a lovely stab straight into the old man from Private Frisco. But he's now going up against another member of the Confederate State Army. It is, of course, Colonel Potatoes. Mr. Potatoes, he will fry you. Let's see what is going on. He's fighting. This is a 3 versus 1 here by Mr. Potatoes. And unfortunately, he could not overcome the sheer numbers that were arrayed against him. And now it looks like the Union Army has the Confederate States on the run. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, the Union definitely has the advantage, 10 men wise. And now they're going after the Confederate State. They're trying to chase them down as best they can. You can see here, Special K running into Thomas Beale, First Lieutenant from the 3rd US, and you can see that he is in process of trying to take out as many of the Confederate State as they possibly can. Standing far up on the hill here, William Sherman, the Major General, is trying to defend as best he can, but oh, he takes a bullet. Very nasty. And he is unfortunately no more. So let's just wait and see. As now we can see the remaining members. Oh, Drummer is defending himself. Game Mast is trying to defend himself from all that evil that is coming in his direction. He's trying to do just some drumming. Oh, very unfortunate. Look at that. And it looks like the camp here of the Confederate State Army has been overrun by Union forces. Let's see. Staff Lieutenant Henry. 8 members of the Confederate Army remain. 26 members of the Union forces are still in the field. Let's find out what they're going to do. As you can see, Staff Lieutenant Henry, or Lieutenant Henry, is now making his way past all the bodies of his comrades up towards where the battle is being fought. As looks like Walsham has managed to kill one of his teammates. And let's just wait and see as Morton Girard there is looking. And look at these guys taking the cover. So using the cover really effectively, loading that rifle ready to go for the next shot. But here come the Union forces charging in, and we could be talking about some bayonets and rifle swinging going on. Oh, it looked like the Confederate State forces are going to start backing up. No, they're going to fight for dominance. It's going to be a good battle here. Met gets taken down. Folsom also taken down. God, Girard's on fire at the moment with some stabby goodness all over the place. And we're now watching him defend himself against 3 men. Oh, but gets stabbed in the back of the head there by Garrett. Recruit Garrett from the 32nd Massachusetts. And ladies and gentlemen, the Union has won the first round, and we shall continue with the second. We are back with the second round of this North and South battle, and as you can see, we are well within the Union camp. Colin McCallum from Michigan. On Puff from Massachusetts. Also from Michigan, Matthew Ferguson, the Colonel. And you can see there from Michigan also Private Norman. Now, let's find out where these fellows are off to. The 9th Ohio, fine men. And over on their right side is, of course, the 1st Michigan. Now, you can see them crossing this bridge here, making their way in towards the battle. Flags flying high. Generals about them, officers commanding, doing all that funky commanding thing. There we go, the 32nd, looking glorious, as you can see. There we go, there's 2nd Lieutenant Wolfers next to them. Look at this. Major Hugo, and leading, it's Colonel Lance, commanding officer of the 32nd Massachusetts. Now, let's find out if we can see where... Oh, look at this. The cannon of the Union's forces. Now, you can see there a couple of nice cannons ready to go. These fine Parrott guns ready to go. They don't fire parrots, in case you wonder. Although that would be quite interesting to see, I have to say. Now, let's see if we can find out. Let's see, just make sure. Yes, the 2nd Connecticut is on the Confederate States side. You can tell from these beautiful uniforms. Ah, look at the braiding on this man's shoulders. Colonel Sasau. I hope that's how it's pronounced. And you can see here from the 2nd Connecticut marching in, or running in with his men, I should say. The war cries in the background going off as these guys are making their way in towards the battlefield. And former meat shield from Hinkle. Now, for those of you who have not seen it, let's see if we can find Mr. Hinkle, as he will be in using the patented battle bush. Let's see if we can find him. There's Arctic. There's William Sherman, Tecumseh Sherman. William Tecumseh Sherman, I believe his name was. Let's just double check. There's Mr. Cocky. Let's see if we can find the Hinkle. OMG Potatoes, there's Spears, there's Guru Dennis, Small, Pol Pot. Yeah, don't ask. Let's see. Come on, where are you, Hinkle? Oh, brave Scott being taken down with a fine shoulder shot from John down there. Oh, he team killed. Whoops. Very unfortunate, but these are the kind of things that tend to happen. So there's Colin McCallum, Recruit Garrett, but you know what? Let's not look for him at the moment, because otherwise it's going to take forever. So here you can see the Confederate State Army holding up this point, not far from this hamlet and barn section. And let's see if we can go and find some of the other guys. Oh, look at this, a push in here by the Union Army in towards this fine period house. And you can see battles going on, the fences being taken down. Oh, look at that. Fantastic stuff going in there from Pain Mace, from the 32nd Massachusetts. Fine work with the bayonet. Now, obviously, one thing to bear in mind is, you know, historically, if any of these people actually... Please don't tell me you're shooting a fence, Wolfers. Whenever armies used to stop around these kind of places, the poor people who owned the farms, you know, would literally just see all their stock disappear, all their crops, if they could be harvested, disappear. It was just absolutely devastating to them, as you can imagine. So, the horn in the background. Major Hugo looking up onto the hill at his enemy. Moving forward. You can see, look at this, the craters made by the bouncing cannonballs. Oh, lovely shot there. Michael Jones being finished off. Now, let's see. Lieutenant Colonel Jeppin. Now, the thing is, I asked them before what the 2nd RI meant, and they told me, and I've already forgotten. So, my apologies to the 2nd RI. Memory like a goldfish, what can I say? So, Belly Fort also in there. Now you can see that these guys, this is one of the things that you're going to see in this mod more than you'll see in any other type of game of like Napoleonic Wars, is these guys will engage from a lot longer range because of the rifling that's available to them. Oh, Ulysses S. Grant has been taken down. Ulysses S. Grant, the general, is injured and on the floor. This is not good for the Union forces. Let's just wait and see what's going on. Oh dear. Here come the 32nd. Flying across the field as a cannonball bounces over the earth on the right hand side, and you can now watch as the 32nd Massachusetts, look at it, they're like ants, just streaming across this battlefield, going in straight, really nastily against the members of the Confederate State Army. And looks like Major General William Sherman has been taken down by a fine cannonball from Matthew Ferguson. And now you can see the Confederate State forces fleeing in disarray as they move back to a defensive position as the Union forces continue to push them. Wow, look at that coming in from the 32nd Massachusetts, just looking absolutely amazing. Look at these guys, don't they look fantastic? Look at this, streaming across the battlefield, pursuing their quarry. A bit of fighting going on as well, the odd man catching a bullet every now and then, but the Union forces are not dismayed by the minor losses, and it looks like this is where, yeah, this is where the cannons of the Confederate State Army are holed up, and this looks to be the final defensive structure for the Confederate State forces. So let's just see what's going on. Bit of conspicuous drumming going on by Game Mast, doing his job, doing his duty, but this could be the end for the Confederate State forces as they are about to be overrun by the human wave that is the Union forces. And let's just wait and see what's going on. Look at this. And you've also got up on his horse, who is this fellow who's doing a little bit of, oh, nearly lost his horse there. Let's find out who that gentleman is. It's Second Lieutenant Swissy, who's out with his sabre. He's trying to take out some of the Union forces, but I don't think he's going to have much luck. With those fine gloves on him. Going in for the kill. Oh, stabs him across the back. Colonel Lance gets taken down by Swissy. He then gets dehorsed, and now he's in major trouble. And massive stabbings going on there, but unfortunately, Penzops comes a cropper as part of that stab fest. Now we can see here Nathan Jones from the 3rd US trying to defend himself against multiple attacks from the Confederate State Army, and they take him down. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. The North and South Battle Bush. Currently with Hinkle. So you can see Hinkle in there at the moment, doing his best impression of a bush. Because who doesn't want to be in a bush on a Saturday night? So, Let's just go wait and see. There's Spoopy. The guy's reloading. Let's see. Oh, look at that. Corporal Harris, lovely shot. And they're into Corporal Nikolai. And this is a difficult situation here for the Union forces, as they are being defending that particular hamlet really well. That barn being defended, as you can see here. Oops-a-daisy. Look at that. Oh, fine stabbing goings on here. Let's find out who this gentleman is. It's Travis West with another kill, and Travis is going nuts in there. Look, another kill. An outflanking, a beautiful outflanking maneuver there by Private Travis West from Michigan, and he manages to help secure that barn for his forces, and now they can move off. The regiment disappears. As you can see, additional fire and fun and games going out as Spoopy decides to make a run for it. Being chased by Corporal Harris from the 9th Ohio. And now the bayonet dozy-do begins, but Spoopy is finished off. So let's see what's going on. As we can now see that there are 35 members left of the Union and only 5 of the Confederate States. So this could be a massive problem for the Confederate State Army. They have suffered quite significant casualties compared to the Union. And we'll just have to wait and see how they decide to fight back. They've got to pick and choose. They've got to choose their battle very, very carefully, because if they don't, it's all going to go horribly wrong.
Move it! Move! Move!
Let's see. Trying to find Confederate forces right now, and to be honest, they're doing a good job of staying hidden, and that's exactly what they should do. There we go. So Ulysses S. Grant, this is one thing you didn't have in the real Civil War. You weren't able to toggle a beacon onto the enemy forces. So over here, this appears to be the defensive position. There's the artillery. Whoops. Okay, so somebody's out of the tree. Oh dear. There we go. He's unfortunately no more, as he got stuck in the tree, as you can see. Very unfortunate. So let's see. The 2 remaining members of the Confederate State forces have now been finished off. Private Max and Tobias Honan. And we shall now move on to the next round. We'll be right back. Well, we return after a map change, ladies and gentlemen, with owls hooting in the background. You can see here, this particular homestead is the start of the Confederate State camp. Oh, or maybe not. Let's just wait and see. Because it could be that Ulysses S. Grant is on one side and confusing me. Which is not exactly difficult, I have to admit. It's not exactly difficult. Yep, Ulysses S. Grant is actually playing for the Confederate States, so he has turned traitor. He has done a Benedict Arnold, so to speak, and is now playing for the Confederate States. So you can see there the Confederate State forces now making their way out here, the 3rd US. Bear in mind, this is all normal Union Army players, and they are just varying it up for a little bit of fun and battles on a Saturday. So let's have a look at this map, because it is quite nice. So you can see this small village with very, very loud owls and pigeons. So you can see here the forces making their way out. Plenty of wood cover. Plenty of forestation. Now it looks like, look at that flooded river. Oh, look at that. And it looks like the river, difficult to say whether or not it's flooded or whether or not it's just made its way between these two sort of tributaries between there and there. In the fact it suddenly stops, I'd say it's probably a flood. Oh, and a cannonball coming in from Ferguson takes down Brave Scott almost immediately. And you've got this hamlet, or this sort of housing structure, in the centre. Now, I'm going to say that that's probably going to end up as quite a central point for the battle. Bridge over on the far side, along with a house next to it, another house over there. And let's see what's going on, because the cannons coming in from the artillery is just fantastic. Now, you can see that these guys are not respecters of property. You can see them breaking the windows. Now, for those of you who are not aware, that's because in this particular game you have to break the windows in order to be able to shoot out of them. Now, here is Lieutenant Colonel L.J. Chamberlain. And you can see these guys all setting up. These guys are Unionists. You can tell from the fine uniforms that they are wearing. You can see the Union Army there. Look at these gentlemen here. Lieutenant Colonel Jeppen from the 2nd RI, and I forgot to ask, because I'm an idiot, never mind. I'm sure they'll tell me, and I'm sure eventually it will enter my head at some point and will then stay there. So we'll just have to wait for that eventual day to happen, hurrah. Anyway, more cannons going on, as it looks like Jeppen has just sacrificed one of his corporals. Let's just see. As you can see here, the Michigonians, maybe, I'm not sure. George Hamilton, captain in charge, and you can see here also General making his way out along with other members of the 2nd. Was that the 2nd or the 32nd? No, that was the 32nd, my apologies. There's Gimps, who seems to be attacking a tree. Why he's in the army, if he's got this arboreal tendency, we can only ask. As Tron Tack, let's see if we can find Tron, doing a fantastic job with the cannonball, taking out multiple enemies. Let's see, where is Tron in here? There he is. Oh, fantastic job with his guns. And ow, look at that. That is fantastic. A beautiful, solid explosion, and the cannonball is off and away and takes somebody out. On the way. Fantastic. John Hadley, Lieutenant, and Staff Lieutenants, in fact, with a fine clay pipe. Now you can see here, let's see if we can get a general gist of what the two armies are doing against each other, because I'm seeing a lot of cannon fire coming in, and this, I would say, seems to be the area that the Union forces have decided to put their artillery. Now, you've obviously going to have guys scouting out the area, like John Hadley here, and the Confederate State Army is really making a significant push up towards the artillery of the Union forces, and you can see that these guys are in there. They are defending as best they can. I love Mount and Blade players. Game Mass doing his duty again with the fine music in the background, stirring stuff while these guys fight the battle. That's got to be the worst designed tent I've ever seen in my life, but never mind. But this is the problem. Look at this. The Confederate State Army has now arrived on the hill, and we are now waiting to see what happens as there's John Hadley. Oh, wow. John Hadley lost his horse very quickly indeed. He managed to get up and now pulls out his sidearm and sword, and will now be fighting back against the enemy as a horse appears to have got stuck. That's one of the train horses there, and it looks like he's going to grand theft horse. Yes, there we go. John Hadley commits grand theft horse and moves off to try and get out of the way as Major General William Sherman is taken down by the sustained fire coming down at the moment. Look at this. Fine smoke everywhere as the bullets go flying in the direction of the Union forces, who are now retreating. Look at this. This is the absolute laden corpses here of the Union forces fleeing from the top of Artillery Hill. There is the general taken down as he was fleeing the scene. And, oh, look at this. Hinkle doing his rallying the Union troops, what can I say? As you can see him in there as the President, Mr. Lincoln. Let's hope Mr. Lincoln doesn't catch a bullet as he's getting a little bit close to the enemy forces. So you can see there's Swissy also in from the 1st Artillery. This is where they've decided to hold up and try and defend. Now that Artillery Hill has been taken by the Confederate State Army, but the Confederate State Army is actually moving over to this section of houses, as this is where they want to... Look at those braids, look at those sashes on those fellows. How lovely they look, but they have decided to abandon their position. Now, let's see what's going on inside the houses. Not a lot right now. Oh, look at this. This is really bad for the Union Army. As you can see, Tiernan McCarth here trying to defend himself against multiple members of the Confederate State Army. Gets one, takes a little bit of a stab. He's defending himself, trying to block those incoming bayonets, but unfortunately was overcome by the sheer weight of numbers. The Union forces continue to be pressured very hard. Look at this. Union forces in trouble now. Let's find out. Colonel Sassow held up with the members of the 2nd Connecticut. This could be the last stand of the 2nd Connecticut as a man comes in. Colonel gets taken down as he shoots, shot through a window even. And that was very unfortunate. Let's see if we can find out what happens next. Here are the Confederate State Army. Now you can see that they have essentially just cleared this entire area, all these buildings of Union forces. Now I think it's fair to say 38 versus 27. It's reasonably close between these two. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. So they have cleared out this area, and there is Colonel Lance. Colonel Lance from the 32nd. He is now trying to gather his regiment together, taking cover from the Union forces, which are now trying to engage them. Let's see what's going on. Who is that? That's a Gandur, and he is now deciding to flee through the... Oh, that's got to be careful. He's got to be very careful. He's going to get stabbed in the cornfield. That will be very nasty indeed. And that's one of the things I remember from the books I've been reading is... on some of these battles, literally there were so many deaths in cornfields that the harvest the following year was absolutely a bumper crop because of all the minerals and all the blood that had been spilt in that place. It's just a horrible thought when you think about it. But anyway, 32nd Massachusetts, 2nd Lieutenant Wolfus, and it looks like they've got the Union forces on the run. Let's see, 16 members of the Union forces now trying to escape, and there we go. There's Husey going after another man. There we go. Let's see, Trontap being finished off as well from the artillery. Another artillery member there trying to defend himself. He gets taken down. Slaughter is slaughtered well and truly, and now the Confederate State Army has captured Artillery Hill from the Union, sending the horn signal to their friends, letting them know of the successful capture of this location, and then moving on to their next objective. Let's see if we can find out what that will be. The fine war cry of the Confederate States and the bog. The Confederate State bog. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Eau de toilette for you. As you can see here, William Jones still looking for additional members. Major Dragon is finished off. George Hamilton sneaking around. Literally has lost almost his entire regiment. This is a really nasty situation. Oh, this is not good. You can see here in the square, who is this man defending to the hilt? L.J. Chamberlain. Oh, look at this. He's trying to defend himself, and he manages to... Oh, look at that. He manages to block him at the final moment with the sword. And there goes Chamberlain in as well. He is doing his best, but finally shot to death by William Jones from close range. Oh, they're going after the commanding officer. Hinkle's taking some damage. He is now riding off to try and get away. There we go. You can see Hinkle is now.
7 years ago,
there's no time.
Brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated.
He's throwing apples at them.
Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation.
I don't even know what to say, really. This is probably the most surreal fight I've ever seen in my entire life. But it looks like Hinkle has managed to take out Dugald Fife and also Lenny Goldberg as well. So you can see here a battle going on between Swissy and let's see who is this. Rockefeller. So Swissy and Rockefeller having a fine fight and Rockefeller being taken down. There is Hinkle, which I don't remember him being armed to the teeth as he is right now, but never mind. Ulysses S. Grant has just toggled a beacon onto the commanding officer of the Union, and there are only 3 Union forces remaining. And I guess the third man is here. Massachusetts Volunteers, I think, but we shall just have to wait and see. And it looks like they're going to stand their ground and wait. He's taking cover behind the horse. Oh, really? That's getting a little bit too up close and personal to a man's horse, I have to say. And here is now the Union commander waiting for the eventual arrival. Let's see, is he going to go mano a mano? Let's wait and see. He's got the apple out. Oh, brilliant. Just absolutely brilliant. The apple kill, ladies and gentlemen. A fine apple kill, and now Hinkle is running. Oh, down goes Hinkle, finally shot to death there by Private Husey, or Recruit Husey. And there we go, the final members of the Union forces have been taken down. Fantastic. And we'll move on to the next turn, or the next round I should say. We'll be right back. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we are on to the final round of this battle. Colonel Lance. Look at these guys, don't they look fantastic? Marching into battle, weapons held, ready for the forthcoming shenanigans. A few stragglers over here from the 3rd US, Thomas Beale. Another regiment. And there's the 32nd Massachusetts, obviously Lieutenant Wolfus running a little bit behind. And let's just wait and see what happens. So we follow here the Confederate State Army, with their colours held high as you would expect them to do, making their way towards the Union forces. And the forthcoming battle we know is to occur. Let's see if we can find some Union forces. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Artillery Hill is yet again taken by the Union artillery, and their commanding officer complete with cover this time. You can see here 2nd Lieutenant Swissy, whose attention this horse is reversing, and they're of Kerry Game Mast doing his duty. And you can see here the artillery now continuing. So let's find out what's going on, as it looks like they've sent out an advanced scout from Artillery Hill as the cannonballs fly over the top of the head of this commanding officer. Let's find out who that is. That's Brigadier General Sark here. And it looks like some of the Union forces taking cover behind these fences from the 1st Connecticut. There, of course, is OMG Potatoes. And you can see him obviously pointing in the direction of the suspected location of the enemy. And here they come across the bridge. From Michigan, look at these fine fellows and ladies. Andrew King, William Jones, Daniel Earhart. I wonder if he's related to Amelia Earhart. Private Teddy. And here is Colonel Tomasos. Nikolai. I apologise for any names that I have butchered. There's Lemoid66. I think we didn't see that, gentlemen. There's Major G.R. Stefan. And it looks like, as you can see here, this is the defensive position they have decided to take up. So the Union forces taking up a defensive position not far. Oh, look at that. And it looks like Artillery Hill has already engaged them. So it looks like it could be a knotty situation here for these forces. As you can see, one man trying to jump into the wine vat. That's Birdie there. Nicolina Birdie. I can't say I blame her, to be honest. And we shall follow the forces around, see if we can get an idea of where the battle is actually occurring. Now, it could be in this building. Let's just wait and see. Yes, it is. And this is where these guys are trying to defend themselves. Very, very close quarters battle going on now between the Confederate State Army and the Union forces, with those extremely loud owls in the background. So it looks like this is going to be the final stand. Maybe we'll have to wait and see. There's Travis West checking the windows for enemy. Private Jacob being taken out. It's on as well. Let's see if we can make our way out and find out what's going on. There's Corporal Buell. I love the musicians in this game. Just glorious. Oh no, Dinkler. Dinkler has been finished off. Here we go. It looks like here the Confederate State artillery is now in danger and is being overrun by Union forces. Staff Captain Alucard from the Eagle Brigade is moving to assist. Out comes the rifle and takes somebody. Matthew Ferguson shot in the back as he tries to escape from the field. So, dodging left and right. Colin McCallum, unfortunately, didn't dodge quick enough. Dugald also taken down. This long distance fire coming in. Brigadier General Sark here. Or Sark here, I should say. Oh, fine stab, sir. Into Private John Winters. Barging to the floor with his horse. Let's see how this goes. And a final slice across the back finishes off his enemy. Let's see. There he is. Mr. Lincoln himself. Artillery Hill. And you can see now they started to move the cannons over and pointing them in the direction of those puffs of smoke. Now, obviously, bear in mind, these earthworks certainly help because they interrupt the cannonballs that come flying in that direction. As we make our way through the smoke, let's see what the difference in numbers are. 45 and 43. So the numbers are very, very... Oh, did you see that cannonball fly through these troops? As you can see, a few of the troops have fallen on the run in towards the cover that is available from these large amounts of bushes and trees and corn. And so now they can make their way in and start to make a push onto Artillery Hill. And that's exactly what the Confederate State Army is doing now, pushing into Artillery Hill and really trying to do a number and push those artillerymen away. That should then give the advantage to the Confederate State. No, game mast. Drumming, continuing to drum in death. Unfortunate. But never mind, as you can see here, more slicey goodness going on here. Ulysses S. Grant getting involved. The turncoat himself, and he's taken down. He is dehorsed. He gets up very quickly and decides to make a run back. Out comes the six-shooter from Ulysses S. Grant. You can see a line forming up under Captain George Hamilton. Quite the array of faces, as you can see. Some young uns, some girls, and quite an old fella in there as well, and one who's with a damaged eye. As you can see, taking a little bit of injury there as a result, probably of a bit of shrapnel. The war cries continuing as these guys make their way out. The 29 members of the Union up against the 40 members of the Confederate States. So right now the Confederate State has the advantage, or the Confederate States have the advantage, my apologies. And it looks like these guys are trying to cross the river now. Obviously they want to try and keep the power. Oh, look at that, they just lost their standard bearer as well. That's really unfortunate, and that's in the river as well. Dear oh dear. It looks like they've lost their flag as a result of that now, floated away with the rest of the river. And now they have to then move in towards this building. It looks like they're going to be charging this particular building here as it is being defended. You can see them starting to move the forces out towards the windows and all the various areas that they know they're going to have to defend. Looks like they're now making their way outside as well. There we go, making their way out, and it looks like a mass rush by the Confederate State, all coming out of this building. Oh my goodness, look at this. It's a complete swarm coming out, and this is absolutely insane. As you can see, the Confederate State Army going balls to the wall, so to speak, for the Union forces. As you can see, gentleman taking cover behind his horse. No, that won't make any good, mate. As you can see, Staff Lieutenant Henry now under major pressure, and unfortunately he is no more as he is shot in the back. No prisoners taken, no mercy shown. Now let's just wait and see what's going on, as we shall see 16 members of the Union Army remain on the battlefield. Now 15. So you can see here the guys running as quickly as they possibly can. Another man taken down as he tries to run. Fred there. And you can see here Private Basic. Look at these numbers, just running after these Union forces. And oh, they aren't just going to go round and round, are they? Please don't tell me they're just going to go round and round and round and round. That would be slightly funny. And it looks like they're moving into this particular area of the building to try and defend. Oh, look at that, he nearly got stabbed. And there we go, this looks like they've decided to try and control the amount of people coming in through here. And unfortunately, they were just overwhelmed by the sheer weight of numbers. And unfortunately, no quarter given. Five members of the Union Army, the decimated Union Army, now remain. Let's just wait and see what happens. Hinkle is one. There he is, with his adjutant, Second Lieutenant Swissy. Here is Hinkle. Ulysses S. Grant has just sliced down one of his captains. Obviously didn't approve of the job he was doing. Let's just wait and see. It looks like it might be mono a mono between Colonel Lance and Swissy. Colonel Lance and Swissy, mono a mono on the bridge, with the members of his army behind him watching, and a nice fine stab there by Lance into Swissy. Another attempt, and down goes Swissy. And now it is Lance versus Hinkle.
7 years ago,
this is no time for a speech, Abraham.
on this continent, a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created.
Oh, fine swing by Hinkle. Oh, another stab into Hinkle. And down goes Hinkle. A win for Lance, who then promptly commits suicide over the bridge. Fantastic. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. GG to all the teams and all the players. Thank you very much, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this return to the channel of North and South. We'll see you again soon for more, I hope. Take care.